Lee spoke about numbing. Again, something that I'm slight expert at because I didn't understand how to process the pain. And I don't know how many of you have... I'm going to make a massive generalization assumption that all of you have experienced shame at some type. I never compared myself with anybody else, but I know the shame that I felt was literally unbearable, and I did anything I could to not experience it. So in university, when I fell in love and also felt heartbreak for the first time, they also introduced me to something I never experienced before: alcohol. Because, hey, orange juice and peach schnapps is a pretty unbeatable combination to silence the voices in your head and really turn down that ache that I felt throughout my entire body. So then the logical mind is, well, if this much alcohol numbs this much pain, then this much alcohol must numb the rest of it. So it started off just by a few beverages on a weekend, then every weekend, which spilt on to Thursday includes the weekend, then Wednesday includes the weekend, Tuesday includes the weekend, and then Monday was the holiday because nothing was open at night. And then that really started warping my reality because I didn't understand back then. When you numb the pain, you numb the other side of the emotional spectrum at the same time. So when you can't feel happiness, joy, pleasure, gratitude, empathy, compassion, when all that is stripped, what choices are you going to make? How is that going to lead you down a path that you never knew existed because you don't have anything to guide you? You just shut down the number one thing that can help guide you, which is your intuition, your body, your senses. I don't want to feel anything. So now you're walking blind, which begins a path down a very dark road. And I find now, after hearing stories from so many people, that I'm not the only one that took a walk down a dark path. Some of us get out, some of us don't. And I invite Keith Tong to the stage to share his story of going down a path that he chose.
There was a rule in the house: if I wanted to get food out of the fridge, I needed to ask for permission. Well, that rule I couldn't follow because my stomach made up its own mind. I was 7 years old and it's one hot sunny day. I'm sitting in the living room watching my favorite TV show. I hear my dad go into the kitchen to grab something, and then I hear this loud roar. "Who took the last slice of cheese, Keith?" I instantly lifted off the couch and went into the kitchen and said, "Yes, Dad, it was me," because I was hungry. My honesty was rewarded with a big slap in the face, and then another slap. Those slaps became blows to my body. I was thinking to myself, why is he hitting me so hard? What did I do to deserve this? I was hungry. So through the tears, I'm screaming at my dad, telling him to stop hitting me so hard. It's hurting. I can see through the tears, my mom is asking my dad to stop hurting me, but he's not listening. So I end up leaving, running away. I booked it out the back door, down the alley, screaming and crying hysterically. My neighbor hears what's the commotion, so he comes running out. I'm crying, I'm wailing, I'm just hyperventilating. And my dad from behind screams at my neighbor, tells him to go back inside. It's none of his business, that he has the right to hit me. After a few exchanges, my neighbor goes back inside. My dad walks up to me, pulls me by the ear, and drags me back home. And when I get to the door, he gives me one big kick in the ass. That's for running away from me. I was ashamed for not listening to my dad. Lack and scarcity was very prominent in my household, especially grades 1 to 4. I remember as a kid, I used to love playing in monkey bars, running around, playing on teeter-totters, and go and swing. Oftentimes, I would wear out my shoes faster than my parents would buy them. And my pants, I will outgrow them, so my ankles exposed, making me look like a Pee Wee Herman, like a dork or ugly. And then my famous haircut. Imagine this. You put a bow on your head, you shave around it, you lift the bow up, and voila, that's my haircut. So obviously that made me look very ugly. Because ugly and dorky, I was bullied lots in school. Like a lot. I dreaded going to school every day because either the boys would either push me around, calling me a chink or a Chinaman, or it would be the girls teasing me, snickering and bickering, calling me feeble or a wimp or weak. I was sad, lonely, and hurt. I had nobody to turn to. Even the teachers did not like me because oftentimes I just spaced out and zoned out to some other arena. I remember I would go to space and pretend I'm fighting space invaders or a cowboy. When I failed grade 3, my dad called me stupid and useless all the time. And to be honest with you, I thought he was right. Everything I tried to do, I never did right. I made mistakes. I really believed him. I felt like I was a useless piece of shit. I was ashamed for myself for believing in my peers and my dad. Grade 7. I had an opportunity to help myself to some money that I saw in the school office. I grabbed it, hid it in my jacket pocket, and ran outside and hid in some bushes to make sure I wasn't followed or seen. I took the bag out and saw the cash. I never seen so much money before. I just wanted to get some of the stuff that I always wanted as a kid, like a nice watch or some Transformer toys. I walked home, threw the bag away, and trying to figure out a way how I can hide that cash. I did find a little secret location between the foundation, just where my hand could just fit in. The next day, the school called my parents, and they suspected that I took the money. I said no, I denied everything. My dad didn't believe it. He ransacked the entire house for weeks. As my dad's suspicion and anger grew more and more, I lied more and more because I knew I would get a hell of a beating if he found it or I said yes and admitted it. And then he found the money. The scream of my name started clenching in my stomach. My legs were shivering as I'm walking down the stairs where I hid that money. And then I see him. His eyes, his glare, and the money in his hand. I was expecting a slap in the face, but instead I received blows, like severe deadly blows. That wasn't enough. He grabs a 2x4 and starts hitting me. I'm telling my dad, stop, Dad, please stop. I didn't mean to steal the money. I didn't mean to. Sorry, please stop. And my dad's yelling at me, die. You don't deserve to live. You are not my son. And that keeps going. At one point, he tells my mom to go upstairs and grab a knife. I'm going to kill him. My mom doesn't move. And then my dad grabs my head. And he starts bashing it against the concrete chimney, but not on the flat surface, but on a corner. Bang, bang, bang. I'm just like helpless. I'm in dismay. I'm in shock. I can't believe my dad's doing this to me. He's a monster. And then blood comes gushing out of my head. And my mom's screaming at the top of her lungs. She leaps over me because I'm just already on the floor. I have no energy left to defend myself. And my mom says, you're gonna kill him. And my dad says, I don't care. He deserves to die. I'll go to jail for that. I said to myself, how can my dad be such a monster? I didn't go to the hospital because my mom was scared shitless, fearing the police may ask questions. I could not move my arm. I could not wash my head for almost a month to wash that blood away. During my second attempt to repeat grade 10, I met a nice older gentleman. We frequently traveled together from school or from work. We had the same kind of bus route. And I grew really affectionate with him because he learned to listen and he showed a lot of care. The good news was that he only lived a couple blocks away from my house. And he found out about my disharmony and upsets at home. So he thought it'd be a good idea, with my parents' permission, that he could be my guardian till I finished and completed high school. My parents thought that was a great idea because they couldn't handle my attitude any longer. And plus my house was getting smaller as my sisters was growing up. So I stayed with him till I completed high school. And once in high school, I got attracted to the gang lifestyle. I wanted action suspense in my life. I got accepted to university, but I didn't go. I'd rather make money than stay in some boring classroom. My father figure did not approve, so I moved out of him to move in with a bunch of guys. And all these guys had wads of cash. They had driving nice cars, had the bling bling. I wanted to have what they had. So I ended up quitting my job and I started dealing drugs just to pay for my lifestyle. Sooner or later, I felt that wad of cash in my pockets and it felt good, it felt great. Then I started playing with the drugs I was dealing with. I preferred the high of heroin more than cocaine because it took me to a place of peace and ecstasy. I didn't experience any pain, no fear. I withdrew as my addiction to heroin got worse and worse. That's all I could think of was just my next high. There was no tomorrow, no day after, 5 hours from now. I just wanted to find my next hit, my next fix. I withdrew first for the pleasure and then eventually for the shame. I didn't look good. I was so skinny. I even had to wear the long sleeve shirts just to hide the track marks on my arms. Eventually, I end up being homeless in the downtown east side for a period of time where I'm lying, cheating, stealing just to get my next hit. This is rock bottom for me. I'm helpless and I'm hopeless. Don't know what to do. I've been in and out of jails many times for trafficking and possession. So when I go inside the jail, I get sicker than a dog. And when I get out, I try to find my next high to not get sick. Coming off of heroin, the withdrawal symptoms is severe. It's like a ton of bricks that's sitting on you. You're sweating, you're vomiting. Your gut is clenching and it's squeezing so hard, you can barely move. The downtown east side is a war zone where all drug addicts hang out. Back then, there were no such things as first responders or a drug injection site. If you'd OD, the likelihood of you dying is very high, very likely. I was always on edge. I'm in jail for the 6th time and I've been there for months now. And I said to myself, I had it with this life of mine, no more. No more being homeless, no more lying, cheating, stealing. I want it out. So I called my sister for help, and she somehow managed to agree for my parents to come back home. And she got me set up with some addiction counselor where I'll be on the methadone program. My sister sat beside me during all those meetings. I remember one day just bending over and crying, finally seeing that light at the end of the tunnel that I was looking for. That finally, this might work. My road to recovery from addiction took almost 10 years. 10 years of hard sweat to reclaim my dignity, my confidence, my self-esteem. I never told anybody about my past life because I still felt a lot of shame and sadness regarding that. I thought there was nobody's business to know about my past life. allows one to move on. I realized that I can no longer play the self-blame and pity game. I had two choices. Do I continue to walk with my head down, blaming everybody, blaming life, or do I pick myself up, brush the dust off, and walk with my head high? The biggest lesson of this was that I needed to own this failure 100%. I own it. I survived thanks to Marcia's training, and Helen, my wife, remained headstrong, keeping me straight. Today, I'm the co-founder of a clinic called Total Vitality Center. I'm 8 months away from becoming a doctorate in integrative and natural medicine. My mission is to teach, inspire, and empower people to become proactive with their health. I'd like to take a moment to share my dissertation thesis. It is in my thesis to heal one's opioid addiction, is to mend one's trauma using the supramental laws of love, compassion, and forgiveness. I'm here today talking about shame. I believe it is these moments in my life that are most rewarding because I believe they are gifts from the universe. I wouldn't be here standing today if I didn't have these experiences. For me, rather than push shame away, I embrace it. I embody it with love, compassion, and forgiveness. There's nothing I can do to turn off or erase those moments. Shame is close to me because it's a part of me, so I cuddle it. They're learning tools for me to live my life with joy, abundance, and happiness. Shame is not my enemy, but rather shame is my best friend. Thank you.
P.S.
P.S. I did complete my book. It launches this July 30th, and all proceeds from this book will be donated to support the homeless people in the downtown east side. Thank you.